Hey guys, Master is back with some Borderlands 2 for you today, of course, and this is going to be a continuation of my Texmod tutorial series where we show you how to modify certain skins and textures on different things in Borderlands 2. So today we're going to show you how to do the gold Unkempt Harold. A lot of people wanted to see this. A lot of people want this. So what I will do for people that don't have access to the required tools to actually make their own edits to these, what I will do is I will put a link in the description for people that are running the PC version of Borderlands 2 and they know how to use Texmod. You'll be able to load up this particular custom package and you'll be able to use this gold Unkempt Harold in your game. For everybody else though, we're going to show you how to actually make it. So if you want to make your own edits, you can even make your own colors, your own bits and pieces on it. So we're going to get into that. Of course, I should also state that a couple of questions in the last video came up. Mainly, can you get banned from using these in Borderlands 2? Generally with Texmod, the only games that will detect Texmod as like a hook or a hack or a cheat are VAC protected games, which are generally only Steam games. Borderlands 1 and 2 do not use any type of anti-cheat protection whatsoever. So you are, I'd love to say 100% safe, but again, anything like this is not supported. So there could be some risk there if something went wrong, but there's been thousands, if not tens of thousands of people using this since the game basically was released, and I've never heard of anyone being banned for using it. Of course, as well, there is no way to do this for the Xbox 360 or the PS3. A lot of people were asking, could I put the save game out and then convert it in GIBD and then load it up on the Xbox? It does not work like that. Weapon skins aren't tied to your save game whatsoever. So this is strictly a PC thing. A couple of people asked about Mac as well. It'd all come down to whether you could run Texmod or maybe something like Umod, whether you could actually run it on a Mac. I think there's source code out there available. So if you were to maybe be able to compile it and compile it for a Mac and make a Mac executable, maybe you could do it, but it's something that is way out of my depth. So what we're going to do is just cover what we know. PC, Photoshop, let's do it. All right, so here we are. So that's the gold Unkempt Harold. I think it's one of the best skins in the game. It's also one of the easiest ones to do. It looks really, really nice, especially in an area where you've got nice bright lighting. So we're going to show you how to do this. And for everyone else, if you want it, download it, use it, enjoy it, love it. So let's drop back to the desktop and we'll start editing this stuff, shall we? So we've got Photoshop open, ready to go. We've got Texmod open, ready to go. Let's go logging mode. What we are going to do is we're going to run DDS today. So DDS is a different format we discussed briefly in the last video. It's just a format that will actually allow us to do a little bit more complex editing to the file that gets dumped. So let's fire it up and see how we go. Somebody actually said, why don't I use the weapon inspector to load it and actually look at the textures? And that's actually a really, really good idea. But I've tried to do it the last couple of videos while I've been recording, and it's actually been crashing the game. So no idea whether there's a bit of a bug there, but it actually overloads the memory buffer on the video card and completely crashes the game only when I go into that screen. So for argument's sake, I think I'll just look at the floor and try and do it that way. You can look at the floor or look at the sky in an area to cut down on the amount of loaded textures as well. So what we're going to do is we're just going to look straight at the ground. So there we go. We're going to hit asterisk on the keyboard and then we're just going to go through until we see the textures we want, and hopefully it does not crash. Alright, so we're looking for the Unkempt Harold to flash green briefly, which will hopefully indicate a texture. We want that one. We want that one. See, the star disappears, so that's the star texture. Wow, snow is just one big texture. We could make the snow a different color if you wanted to. Right, you can see the skin texture there. Hit that. Hit that. Looks like one as well. Hit that. Hit that. Alright, I'm pretty sure that's all of them. So the Harold is actually comprised of quite a few different textures. So there we go. We should have what we need. Quit. Save and quit. And we're going to inspect these files that we just dumped. And we're going to try and explain along the way what they are. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 files. Probably won't use them all, but I think it's going to be good to explain what they are and what they do. So let's start with the first one, which is the biggest one. It looks like 10.6 meg, so I think I know what this one will be. All right, so this particular one is like a, how do I describe it? It's like a mega texture. This is a texture that is comprised of a whole lot of different textures from maybe different parts, different weapons. And it's, if you look at it in a normal image editor, you look at that and you think, well, that's just garbage. What am I going to do with that? But the way the Unreal Engine works is it actually uses RGB layers to store different information, which is an incredibly efficient way to actually have textures loaded. So where you might have one flat texture loaded, it could actually contain multiple textures for multiple things throughout the game. So if you go to channels in Photoshop, and if we actually just turn off some, you see on the blue channel, you see there that we have skins. So that is just a flat base texture for a part of the Harold there. If we go to the green channel, you see there's more. And this could be for something completely different. Like all of this isn't just Harold. You can see there we've got like the E-Tech fins there from a particular weapon. The red channel, different again. So much stuff can be contained in these particular textures. But for anyone looking at it in a normal image editor, they just see that, which is just, a lot of people get confused and they're like, well, how do I edit that? But you need to edit it in the channels. That's how you edit it. So what we're going to do is we're going to get rid of this, because this isn't actually one that we need to edit. So we're going to get rid of it. It's gone, dog. It's gone. We open up the next one. Double click. I know how to double click. All right. So this one, again, this is one that we can explain the same way. You look at that and you think, well, what the hell do I do with that? That's the gobbledygook. So this is actually the white star on the Unkempt Harold. And you'll see that there's also the hammer and sickle there as well. Go to channels. And if we click just the red channel, there's the star. So that is the star on the Unkempt Harold. If we click the green channel, there's a hammer and sickle, which is on the Vladov weapons, I believe. It's also on one of Maya's skins. I think it's on a lot of the skins, actually. I can't remember what it's called. It's the dark one. Can't remember what it's called. I should. I played this game a lot. But anyway, so this is another example of your RGB transmission maps that actually define where textures are placed. It's, like I said, very, very efficient way to actually use one texture to contain much more information. So we'll start with this, yeah? We'll start with this. What we're going to do is we're going to select the red channel and only the red channel. Turn off blue. Red channel is selected, okay? Now, for this particular texture, black, which is just flat black, we'll select up here, flat black is transparent. So what we're going to do is we're just going to black that out completely. So now that's completely gone in the red channel. So that means that if we were to load that up, there'd be nothing on the Unkempt Harold. It'd be completely clean. So what we're going to do is we're going to select white. And then what we're going to do is we'll just do a shape again. Shape's probably the easiest way to do it. We'll go shape, and what we're going to load up. Let's load up a biohazard logo, yeah? Biohazard. And we'll get it about there. All right, so there we go. So now, if we click all the channels together and we look at it, you see that we have that red biohazard logo there. So now what that will do is any place where that star would have been used, that is also used on the flacker. It's also used on a couple of other things I can't remember offhand. But now what we've done is we've actually changed it from a white star on the Unkempt Harold. That's going to turn up as a white biohazard logo. You can change that for anything you want, as long as it's white and as long as it's fairly plain. You can't really do much with gradients and things like that. Like if it's an image that you just put a white overlay on, it won't turn up as good, but just strong, bold images work best for this particular one. So now all we got to do is go File, Save, and this pops up. So this is what I was talking about with DDS. This is the Nvidia plugin for Photoshop, and it will allow us to actually save the Nvidia files, and it just gives us access to the channels, and also gives us access to a couple other things that the other formats don't. So we've got it all set. We're going to save it as DXT3, 8 bits per pixel explicit alpha, and we're going to save that. So that's done. Click. So that one's done. What is the next one, my friend? This one, a lot of people get confused when they see these because they're like, don't know what that is, man. That is your unkempt Harold. So you see there, that is the dark on the front, and they are your stripes on the unkempt Harold, and that's it. That's your unkempt Harold texture, which is absolutely incredible when you think about it. So I'm going to show you how to make a gold unkempt Harold. Are you ready? Done. All right, thanks for watching. We'll see you later. So that's it. That's the gold unkempt Harold now. That's basically all you have to do. So if we just go File, Save, Model before. Sometimes you can run into this, which is a bit weird. It only has happened with this particular text. So let's go image size. We'll just change it. We'll go 256 by 4. Constraint. 256 by 4. Okay, let's just change it a bit. File, Save. Okay, save. There we go. So that's save. Sometimes textures need to be in multiples of 4. This particular texture is weird in the way that sometimes it will actually it won't let you save it unless you change the actual size of it, but it still has to be a multiple of 4. I'll get into this a little bit more in depth where you can actually change it and you can actually make it to a bit more of a larger texture with a bit more detail. But for this particular tutorial, it's just going to be the gold. So that one's done. Let's see what else we've got here. Was this the same one? All right, this is another one. This is the one that controls the grip on the unkempt Harold. So same thing, you'll need to edit your channels. So if you look at red is the one that controls where the gold texture is positioned on the grips of the weapon. So the thing is with that, it is quite tricky to go in and actually edit it by hand. I have done one for my particular Harold. It took a while to do it. There is a cheap way to do it where you can just sort of I'll show you what you can do, but what we'll do is we'll skip that one for now. We'll just quickly go through what this is. All right, that's your normal map. Normal map is something you don't want to mess with. Normal map basically is a map that's overlaid onto a flat texture that mimics light hitting a texture, so it can make a flat texture appear a lot more 3D. So very, very cool trick. I think it was implemented back in the Doom engine, the Doom 3 engine, I think. I think it was something that John Carmack came up with, but very, very neat way to get low poly models to look a lot more high poly with the way that it sort of puts a faux lighting on it. Very, very cool. But for this, you do not want to edit that whatsoever, or it will look really weird. We'll get rid of that. All right, last one is, this is your global reflection map. With this one, you can edit it, and it will change the way your sort of lighting and your reflections look on your items. But it is a global map, which means it's used almost everywhere. So if you were to put a red overlay on this or change it to something else, that will carry across to almost everything in the game. So you can mess around with this if you wanted to get some cool sort of colored lighting and colored textures on different things, but bear in mind that it will change a lot in the game if you mess around with that. So we're going to get rid of that one as well. All right, so we'll just recap. We have changed the red channel to the biohazard logo. Done. We have changed this to just a gold strip, and we changed the size of it to get around the bug with actually where it's saying that it wasn't the right size. And of course we've got this one, which we're not going to edit now, but I will edit that one in a second. So this one is a little bit trickier to mess around with. So what we'll do now is we'll build a package build, and we're going to call it GUKH. You can guess what that stands for. You're very, very intelligent. Package mode, we're going to get rid of this, and we're going to load this, and we're going to run it, and we're going to see what we just built. So of course, for a lot of people that don't understand Photoshop, that might have looked technical, but for people that know their way around Photoshop, that's incredibly simple editing. You can do so much more, but like I said, this was just a basic tutorial to show you how the gold Harold is actually made. And it also sort of covered the RGB maps that actually tell you where some of the other information is hidden in the textures in the game. Hit continue, hit launch, and we should have a half gold unkempt Harold, which means only half of it is going to be gold. So we'll check that out. All right, so here we are. So this is what we have with what we just did. So you'll see that we have half of it's gold, and you see that we also have our custom biohazard logo there. It carries across, so it actually cylindrically tiles that across the weapon. So it can look a little bit weird because it does put it sort of all over it. You can see a part of it up there as well. But that, you can see that's the gold texture. That was so simple. It was just that little line like that. So incredibly basic to do. And you'll see that with this particular one, none of the grip is gold whatsoever. None whatsoever. So that was that big RGB file that I talked about. That's what you have to edit to get the rest of this gun looking gold. Okay, so you can see what we've got there. If you were happy with that, be happy with that, man. Incredibly simple editing. And you could probably do just the gold texture in MS Paint or GIMP. All you'd have to do is just load that particular texture up, color it with a gold, or like I said, color it with any color you want, and it will change just what you're seeing now. If you're happy with that, fair enough. If you want a little bit higher level of customization, you're gonna have to go further into the rabbit hole. All right, so we'll go down there now and we'll see what we can do. So what we're gonna have to do is we're gonna have to edit this huge RGB map now, which should be this loud, is it? It's not. Where is it? It's the biggest one. 2.66 meg. Here it is, this RGB map. Okay, so I'm just trying to think. I think I actually have one backed up that's already done. I don't know whether I can load them because they will actually be called the same thing. Let me have a look. Yeah, I don't know whether that's going to cause problems. Let me have a look. Can I do this? All right, here we go. All right, here we go. Here we go. This is good. So what I have loaded now is the default RGB map, which was what we just had in the game and what you saw where none of the grip is textured, okay? Right beside that, I have my custom modified one. And you'll see these two tiles down here change color dramatically when I switch between the two. That's because one's been modified to actually carry the gold texture down to the grip and to the barrel of the Harold, and the default one hasn't, okay? So the channel that you need to edit to do this is the red channel. So what you'd need to do is just turn off everything else and just have the red channel active. And the particular two tiles, you'll see these are broken up into tiles, and you can sort of work out what they are by looking at them. So you'll see this particular one here is this one here. This bottom one, of course, is this one here. You can sort of see that's the outside edge of the Harold where the glowing fins are on the side. So it can be a bit tricky to sort of understand what you're looking at until you've actually messed around with it. And like I said, make backups, mess around with it. You can't really damage anything because you can just redump clean versions of all the files. So if we go across to my one that I made and we load up just my red channel, you see basically these are almost completely whited out. So when I first started messing around with it, what I was doing was trying to go through and just look for areas that I could actually just hand paint in white. And if you paint any of these areas in white, it will show gold on the actual Unkempt Harold. So it's so hard to explain, but basically you might be able to see it there, the way I've got these squares here. These squares correspond to the grips on the hammer, so that's why they're untextured. These are parts of the screws on the Unkempt Harold, so that's why the screws are untextured. So that is my particular file. But if you want to see the cheat way to do it, to just make a solid gold Unkempt Harold, the cheat way to do it, all right, have your red channel selected, have white selected, and all you want to do is that. So there you go. That means that every single piece, every single grip will be completely textured gold on the Unkempt Harold. A side effect of this is it will also affect every single grip on every other gun in the game. Some weapons look a little weird. Most weapons it doesn't look too bad because it just carries the color from the main barrel of the weapon down to the grip. So that is a cheap way to do it. But like I said, if you want to go into it a little bit more technically, like I did with my particular file, what you want to do is just have the red channel selected, slowly start painting things in white until you work out what you want. So you can do gold stripes and things like that with this particular technique. But like I said, if you just wanted the cheap, easy way to do it, you just go a big blob across the whole thing like that. So now if we go File, Save, Save. Takes a little while to save because it is a fairly large file. And it's saved. Shut this. Texmod. Package build. Build. We're going to overwrite the GUKH. Like I said, if you can guess what that is, you are a genius. Yes, we are overwriting that. Package mode. We've already got it in the list. Hit run. So what we should have now is a solid gold 100% Unkempt Harold, which means that all the attachments, the grip, everything is going to be gold. A lot of people wanted this particular one. They wanted the one that was just solid gold. They didn't want the one with the detail in it, but I like the one with the detail myself. That's the one I'll add the link to in the description. But you can see that this is the way if you wanted to make it just solid gold. I think I put a photo on Twitter and I call it the Dubai Special because it's just completely 100% gold plated. See there, that's an example. That whole weapon, the texture is carried across the whole thing. All right, so now if we switch to the Unkempt, blam, blam, the whole thing is gold now. So there's not an area on it that's not textured in gold. So you can see there that is a cheat way to do it. But if you wanted one that was just gold, if you wanted something you could just jump in and just whip up yourself, that's the way to do it. But now you'll see that the bolts aren't untextured, the grips aren't untextured, there's a screw there. So you can add a little bit more detail if you do leave some certain areas untextured, but it can take a bit more finessing and a bit more saving, quitting, loading before you get something that looks good. But that's it. That's how you make a gold Unkempt Harold. I'm sure a lot of people will take the information, they'll be able to use it. I'm sure a lot of people probably tuned out 10 minutes into it and was like, this is some bullshit. I can't watch this. But anyway, for people that stuck around for the full, man, we're over 23 minutes. I hope you learned something about modifying the textures there. You can now make yourself a solid gold Unkempt Harold. I hope you learned something about how the RGB map work in the Unreal Engine and in Texmod, so you can actually edit certain things like this, and also get an understanding of how the RGB map controls your texture in the way that it can actually propagate a main texture down to other parts of the weapon, which you can carry across to other items and weapons in the game. Anyway, that's going to do it. If you want to see more, let me know in the comments. The next thing I suppose I could do would be the Sandhawk. A lot of people wanted to see how to do the rainbow Hello Kitty Sandhawk. I'm happy to do that. That's not a problem. But yeah, I'm going to get out of here. That was a long tutorial. So, like I said, thanks for watching. I hope you learned something. I hope you enjoyed. And I hope you got that gold Unkempt Harold. It'll make your life much better. Thanks, guys. Until the next video, we'll see you later. Hey guys, surprise! Here's a bit of a secret. If you stuck around for the whole video, it's the only way you'd get to see this, unless you're on Twitter, of course. I posted this on Twitter, but if you stuck around, feel free to type in that particular URL into your bar, and you'll also be able to download that particular custom Seahawk Sandhawk that I made. Fully custom weapon. It's got custom blue color, custom Seahawk logo, and it's also got a custom Maliwan sight on it. So if you do have the holographic Maliwan pop-up sight, you'll get a bit of a surprise there. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you later.